Coming up on Takedown with Chris Hansen.
Hi.
Hello.
These two men are in for a surprise.
Get down on the ground! Get down on the ground!
When their plans for the night are dramatically altered by me.
How's your English?
Oh no.
And the language barrier won't slow me down.
Tell them I think he's lying.
Y hacer esa clase de juego.
He's not lying. He goes to church, so he can't be lying.
I hope you're enjoying this free full episode of Takedown on our YouTube channel, but there's something you need to know. There are literally hundreds of new episodes either in production or on our streaming channel right now, uncensored. Watch TruBlu.com. Use the code YouTube25 to watch all of the episodes for $2.50, or for an annual subscription, use YouTube Year for $20 off. Also, and this is very important, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on TruBlu.
I'm back in the South, Blount County, Alabama, with Sheriff Mark Moon and his team to identify and arrest potential child predators. After a quick briefing with the task force, it's off to the Sting House, where the undercover chatters and decoys are already getting message after salacious message. One chatter fills me in on the discussion he's having, and right off the bat, we suspect the man is not from around here.
Give me a sense for this conversation.
This one's a little confusing. It said hola baby and something else in Spanish.
So we think he might be a Spanish
Yes,
speaker.
sir. I said, hey there, English only. He said, where are you, darling? I said, you okay with my voice being 15? And he said, what do you mean? I didn't understand. I said, my niece is younger. She's only 15. If you're not cool with it, I understand. He said, oh, okay. Excuse me, there's no problem that I do service with her. I said, are you gonna fuck her? He said, how much for the service? I told him $200 for both of us. I said, can you send photos so I could see them? Sent one photo. He said, I can't see mommy, so we sent another one. He said, I want to see the niece. Sent that decoy pic. He said, where are you, baby? I wanted to see some legs and body. He said, love, and if I and my friend go, how much will you leave it to us? I said, for two guys, it'll be $300 to fuck us. He said, you know I want to. I have my dick in good shape, but I don't have enough money. I said, how much you got? He said, hey, first I finished with you, the first and the second with your niece or whatever, 50 each. I said, she'll do it for 50. Your niece can for 50. I said, yeah, baby. Without a condom or with a condom. I said, if you're clean and you don't have to unless you want to. He said, you don't want to use a condom. He said, do you think your niece will do it without a condom? I said, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck for 50, only she will. He said, I'll be nice to her. I just want her to be nice to me and allow me to caress every part of her body. So that's what we want. He said, love, but I also want to do it you a second time. I said, okay, then bring more money. He said, I wouldn't last long because I don't miss love that long and I have cum in my mouth just to come.
Sounds like he's using a translator.
Yeah. I said, okay, you got cash? He said, yes, love, I'll pay you in cash. Asked him where he was coming from. He said, the truth is I don't have enough money, but I would be happy to tell you more. He said, $50 for 15 minutes. Is that okay? And he said, yes. Asked for the address. He said he was in Birmingham. He said, tell me before it gets dark. So we gave him the address.
Right.
And he said he's 55 minutes away. He said, I'm on my way. And he just sent a picture of him driving down the road to show me that he's on his way.
Got it.
That was so confusing.
So his intent is clear. We're just not exactly sure
Don't know if he's
about his
or...
command of the English language,
Right.
one, or whether he's bringing a friend, two.
And if he... I have no idea. I can't...
But we think he's about 55 minutes out.
Hopefully.
So we're fit to find out.
That one gave me a stroke.
The chatter got that right. It was a disturbing and shocking text exchange. As confusing as it was, the bottom line is that it seems that at least one, possibly two men, are coming to meet a 15-year-old girl for sex in exchange for $50. And now we wait for their arrival. Because the scenario involved a woman and her niece, the two female decoys get into character.
Hey,
Our hidden cameras capture one of the men walking up to the house.
did you find it okay?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Are you? Welcome.
Okay.
Did you?
My friend?
Okay.
The camera then picks up the second man outside.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Me number Henry. You?
My name is Alma.
Emma?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good.
This is my niece.
What's her name?
The man still outside asks for his partner to come out of the house.
Hi.
Hello.
Come on.
Oh, no, this the one. Oh, is good. This is chumet.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Huh?
I don't know who that is.
No good.
Something then seems to spook them, so they turn to leave.
Go. Yeah.
Don't move. Don't move. Hands up.
But not in time, as they are quickly surrounded by the Blount County Sheriff's Office.
Get on the ground.
Oh, you got it.
Get down. Get down on the ground. Get down on the ground.
I watch as both men are put in cuffs
Sit up. Right foot. Get up.
and led back into the house, where their actions tonight are not going to get lost in translation.
Huh? Come on, step in there.
The men, now sporting new silver bracelets, are 28-year-old Henry and 27-year-old Garson, both from Guatemala.
I'm sorry, sir. Lo siento.
You're sorry.
Stop.
Hi. How's your English?
Oh, no.
No English at all.
No.
ID.
Oh, yes, I did.
Where's your ID? ¿De dónde es un ID?
No speak, sorry. No comprende. Mi-
No, no inglés.
No inglés. Sorry, man. No
Español?
English. Nothing. Yes, español.
I've been here before, and even though I know some Spanish, Sheriff Moon quickly jumps into action and gets a translator on the phone. That makes it easier on me, but not easier on the two sitting across from me.
I'm about to let you talk to Chris Hansen himself.
Okay.
His name is Sergeant Huerta.
Sergeant Huerta, good evening.
Hey, good evening, sir.
Would you ask these gentlemen why they came here tonight?
Sí, buenas noches, señores.
Buenas noches.
El oficial quiere saber por qué están allí en esta locación esta noche.
Oh, la verdad, don, disculpe, pues ahora sí que no venimos por, como dijera, por robar ni por nada. Usted sabe que también.
So he's pretty much saying that they went with the intention of, obviously the solicitation from whoever was on the other side of the phone, with no regard or that they were underage, they didn't know, and that's why they went there when they were texting back and forth. But they went there with the intention of, or with the understanding that the other person or the female was overage.
But they talked about having sex, and the age was discussed, and a fee was discussed. Pose that question to them.
It was discussed in the text messages, or I just want to make sure I translate correctly.
Yes, in the text,
Okay.
one of the gentlemen talked about having sex with a 15-year-old girl,
Okay.
and there was a fee discussed, $50 to have sex with a
How much?
15-year-old. $50, 50.
Okay. El oficial dice que quiere tener la información que ustedes sabían específicamente.
Oh, no, la verdad, pues le digo que no estoy mintiendo, pues él nos están viendo, va.
So what he's pretty much saying is that he acknowledges that the person on the other side of the phone that he was texting back to that was 15 years old, that they did say the $50 of the price, that that's what the conversation was about, and that they drove from Birmingham to there, obviously with the intent with it, because that was the understanding of the fee. Prior to before, it hasn't happened, but that was the intention of going there.
And they know that having sex with a 15-year-old girl as an adult in this country is illegal.
He said it in his, what he pretty much said to me, that they knew that it was bad, but sometimes as a man, things just take a turn to a different level. Or in other words, they just were thinking with the incorrect head, if that makes any sense.
Correct. And which one of you was actually texting on the phone?
¿Cuál de los dos fue el que estaba mensajeando con la persona en otro lado?
¿Usted también? Diga sí. Yo le estaba mensajeando.
It was the gentleman that's talking to me right now.
Okay, you were the one who was texting. So you set this up. And
So usted fue el que hizo este trato con la...
Sí, la verdad yo estuve mensajeando, pero...
So to say a long story short, yes, he was the one that orchestrated, that did the coordination for it to happen, but he just acted on it, and he's asking to be forgiven, and that won't happen again. But he was the one that pretty much was the one that set the fee and said okay.
And was it their intent for both of them, both of these men, to have sex with the 15-year-old girl?
La intención era para los dos tener relaciones con esa menor, nomás usted.
No, nomás yo venía decidido porque yo le dije a ella, nomás por él le estaba diciendo
It was only him.
a la más grande.
So why did the other man come with?
¿Por qué vino su compañero con usted?
Oh, pues viene a acompañarme. Porque no puedo venir solo, porque no creo más delito que yo vengo solo.
He said he just went with him as his companion, not to partake in the activity.
Tell them I think he's lying.
El policía piensa que está mintiendo.
No, la verdad, puedo jurarlo. Pues, estoy yendo a la iglesia, pero la verdad en esto sí cometí un error. La verdad estoy yendo a la iglesia, pero cometí un error al venir y hacer esa clase de juego.
He's not lying. He goes to church, so he can't be lying to you right now.
Well, if you go to church and you're not lying, what are you doing here trying to have sex with a child?
Por eso le digo, no era con la menor, sino que era con la mayor. Yo le...
Now he's saying that the intent was with the older person, not the younger person.
But that's not what it's...
In
That,
reference to any of the messages that you guys are saying.
yes, there's an aunt and a niece here, according to the scenario.
Okay,
But
so he just said that the intent was to come with the aunt and not the niece.
But in the chat, you talk about having sex with the 15-year-old girl.
Sí, por eso le digo, no me aparto de eso, pero yo creo que también me confundí, como le digo.
He's saying he has not done it, and that the intent was that it was with the older one and not the younger one. If it was misunderstood that it was with the younger one, then that's not what he wants. That's not what he intended to, and the messages got misconstrued from his level or wherever they were translating back and forth. Again, I can't see the messages, so
Correct.
I think he's just scrambling at this point.
Got it. And ask them if they're in this country legally and if they have, work permits and green cards.
Están en ese país legalmente, tienen o tienen su green card, su tarjeta de residencia o algo con ustedes ahorita.
No, la verdad no.
They said they have some type of identification. I don't know what specifically it is. You can take a look at it.
But are they here in this country legally?
Pero están en este país legal.
Oh, de eso, legal, no. La verdad no estamos legal, pero no le voy a mentir porque no estamos legal.
Yeah, no, they're here illegal.
They're illegal.
Correct.
And how long have they been in this country?
¿Qué tanto tienen en el país legal? ¿Cuándo llegaron?
Yo tengo un año que estoy acompañando a él.
Y yo tengo 3 años.
So the other gentleman said 1 year, and the main guy I've been talking to, he said 3 years.
3 years. And have they met girls online before for sex?
Y no han hecho esta actividad como lo que están haciendo ahorita.
Le digo que por eso le estoy tratando de explicar que jamás y nunca nomás, pues, como le digo.
This is the first time this has happened. They've never done this before. And again, they're sorry for the miscommunication or whatever's going on right now. But they have never done it before.
Have they ever been in trouble with the law before, either here in the United States or in Guatemala?
Nada,
Nunca,
estamos
jamás. Si quiere que revise nuestro récord, ahí está. No tenemos ningún problema. No
They
nos
said they
gusta,
have a clean record check.
no nos gusta meternos problemas
But
con
they don't have a criminal record or anything. They haven't been arrested.
Do they have children?
¿No tienen hijos ustedes?
Sí, tenemos.
Tenemos hijos.
They both do.
¿Cuántos años?
Oh, tengo una niña de 5 años.
So yeah, the girl.
Yo tengo una
5-year-old
niña de
girl.
1 año. Acaba de nacer cuando yo entré a Estados Unidos.
Pero
And the
usted
other one
sabe
just-
que
and the other one said they just had a kid before they came, so it's got to be a year old.
How would you feel if somebody came to meet one of your children
¿Cómo se sentirían los dos si alguien llegaría
for sex?
a hacer lo que están haciendo ahorita con sus hijas?
Pues nos sentiríamos
oh, no,
pésimos.
nos sentiríamos pésimo porque usted sabe que no es.
It would feel horrible because the child is not a toy to be doing that.
Y pues aceptar todo.
Ask them what they think should happen to them tonight.
Pues la verdad sí es.
They acknowledged it was bad, but that he was just the companion to come with them. And I re-asked the question that, what do you think should happen to you tonight? They're not giving a direct answer. They're just saying they're passionate about it. They're sorry, and that they have clean records. But they don't give me a definitive answer of what specifically they think should happen.
What's going to happen to them when they are deported back to Guatemala, labeled as child sex predators?
No, pues sería también.
No, pues siendo sincero,
So the gentleman said that if you send them back, obviously that once they get back over there, probably gonna find a reason to put him back in jail, and that he's sincerely apologetic, and he knows that this is a sensitive subject, and that he came to the United States to help his family and his child prosper. But that they're both very sorry.
Could you tell them that there are some sheriff's deputies, policemen who want to take them to the jail for further questioning?
Afuera de donde están ahorita hay dos policías más o dos sheriffs que se los van a llevar a preguntarle más preguntas a otra locación con otro intérprete que no sé yo, o sea, que tiene su departamento.
Sí.
Okay, they acknowledged it.
And do they have anything else to say to American citizens here in Alabama for their behavior tonight?
nosotros no traemos armas, no traemos nada.
Pueden revisar nuestro carro.
Venimos.
They're saying that they're sorry for what happened, but obviously they didn't go through with whatever was supposed to happen. Obviously,
Because we caught them.
obviously,
Yeah.
but that they're not criminals, that they haven't done nothing bad. This was a huge misunderstanding, and that they're sorry for, again, the misunderstanding. They just keep saying that.
Sergeant, thank you very much for your time and your assistance tonight. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a good evening.
Yep, you too.
Thanks again.
Before being taken to the sheriff's jail, Garson and Henry are searched. While they negotiated sex with a 15-year-old girl for $50, turns out they had a lot more money on them. A whole lot more.
How much money altogether?
It's 390 something in that one wallet.
$390?
Yep. There's what I was looking for.
Condom?
1,200.
Huh?
$1,200. Hasta la vista.
Okay. Gotcha.
Henry and Garson were both charged with traveling to meet a child to perform a sexual act, child solicitation by computer to entice a child for immoral purposes, and human trafficking. We'll keep you posted on the case against them.
Now, we have had two different predators show up at the same time in the same investigation on at least a couple of different occasions over the 20 years we've been doing these predator investigations. But this is the first time we've seen two who are both illegal immigrants, both here in this country, committing a crime on this night that will almost surely send them back to their country, in this case, Guatemala.
Illegal immigration in this country is a hotly debated topic, and this case raises some disturbing questions. But the particular investigation in Blount County, Alabama, with Sheriff Mark Moon was not about immigration. It's about identifying and capturing potential child predators.
Both admitted they were here illegally. At first, there's no language barrier, but soon he gets into specifics about having sex, and he says things like, I want love, I want to love, I have my blank in good shape. It's clear as to what his intentions are.
Oh yeah, he even though there might have been, when they got here, some form of language barrier, there was no misunderstanding while he was chatting with our undercover what he wanted, how he wanted it, unprotected, other things that were discussed, other acts that were discussed. He laid it out pretty clear about what he wanted.
The translation apps seem to be working well. It's very clear that the aunt says, my niece is younger, she's 15. He says, no problem, that I do services with her.
Yeah, so I believe he even also discussed about having relations with both, which doesn't matter what you want to do with the adult. He knew what he was getting into, and he also stated he wanted to have relations with the 15-year-old, and that was something he was willing to pay for.
Two men showing up at the same time in the same sting operation obviously poses a challenging risk, both to the sheriff's investigators and to my team and me.
And then at some point, there's talk about him bringing a buddy along.
Yep. In that chat, in those conversations, as he was mentioning to our undercovers about a friend and bringing a friend, of course, that changed how we were going to tactically address this when they arrived on the scene. Because the original conversation made us believe that he might come in, leave the friend in the car. Well, that poses a tactical problem for us. So we came up with another game plan to be able to address the car and the subject going into the house so that we would have safety over everyone and take them into custody without anybody getting harmed.
When these two approached the house and saw the decoys, what did you see in their faces?
Well, I saw what appeared to be an excitement that they were going to be able to fulfill this fantasy that they had dreamed up, or that they were going to be able to have a night of not having to worry about anything other.
They thought they scored.
They thought they were in, and that
they got a good deal.
Yeah.
Sex with a 15-year-old
He was
girl,
waving his buddy in like, hey,
come on.
Like he was flagging in an airplane. You're safe for landing. You know, he was ready to perform, ready for action.
They weren't that safe, were they?
Thankfully, we were there to not allow something like that to happen.
It's always disturbing to learn what these men do for a living and who they might be exposed to.
These two men told me that they did landscaping work, they did concrete work, they did all kinds of work. What do you say to the people who had hired them, who had them in their homes, in their yards, who had no idea that they were predators?
You know, it concerns me for people who do have young children at home. We just don't know. Whenever you hire somebody for a service, whether it be lawn care, whether it be, you know, any kind of construction activity, I would encourage folks to just be very careful and watchful. Background checks, whatever it takes, look into the company to see, you know, how reputable they are. We have to do whatever we can to protect our most precious resources in this country. So it scares me to think that these kind of people who may be hiding in plain sight can seek after prey as they are about their daily job. It terrifies me that these folks go undetected, really.
Undetected until this investigation. And it raises even more questions about this country's immigration policy.
You don't think of this part of Alabama as a crisis center for illegal immigration and illegal immigration as it relates to crime, but it's an issue everywhere, I guess.
And we do have a large Hispanic population in Blount County. Now, we don't have some of the issues like on the border in Texas and Arizona, New Mexico, California, even places like New York, other places that are having much larger crime based off of statistics. We have a very good, hardworking Hispanic community that just wants to make a better life for their family. And we love those folks. You know, we embrace them and are thankful for them. But it's the ones that come in across the border, you know, however they get here with the illegal and evil intentions of selling large amounts of, you know, narcotics, trafficking, and this kind of behavior, reaching out to minors to perform these types of acts. So you're right, here in Blount County, we don't have that large criminal element, but it is a nationwide problem. And I think this is evidence, maybe even to us here in God's country of Blount County, Alabama, that there is things that happen outside of our short-sighted vision that some of our folks need to be awakened to.
Got to be vigilant.
That's right. Protect, 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 protect our children.
Watch TruBlu.com is home to the full library of Takedown with Chris Hansen, true crime documentaries, and exclusive investigations.